Yuck! Smell it again! That's disgusting!
That's my ass!
Who's driving? It's over 9. What? Trap car!
Additional.
Use the boots to get it!
No, no, no!
Huh? What the f?
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I am your online voice for reviews of your choice, and welcome to BS Reviews. Today, we take a look at a modern, action-packed film remake based off of a popular 1980s TV show, The A-Team. Now, not surprisingly, I have no real knowledge of this TV show. I mean, I haven't seen it, and I don't know much about it. That's probably because it came out a year before I was born. And being like most of the people of my generation, I have no real interest nor care, no intention to check out this older material, which is, I think, why people make these more modern, updated films based off of old TV shows. Unfortunately, most of them have had a bombing terribly, like Miami Vice or the Dukes of Hazzard film. But like I said, I can't really say because I haven't seen the original series, but I have seen this film, so that's what this review is going to be about. The A-Team is brought to you by 20th Century Fox Films and was directed by Joe Carnahan, who directed the film Smokin Aces. It was written by Joe Carnahan along with Brian Bloom, Skip Woods, and was based off the original TV show originally written by Frank Lupo and Stephen J. Cannell. The A-Team stars Liam Neeson as Hannibal, Bradley Cooper as Face, Quentin Rampage Jackson as B.A. Baracus, Sharlto Copely as Madman Murdoch, and Jessica Biel as Teresa Sosa. The plot of The A-Team. Updating from its original TV roots, where they originally had 4 Vietnam War veterans, this now takes us to 4 Iraqi War veterans, who join together and become the most illustrious, outrageous, and over-the-top badass super commando team in the military's arsenal, known as the Alpha Team, or A-Team for short. Led by Hannibal, the man with the master plan, he runs this ragtag group of wacko soldiers across the world, doing crazy-ass missions and always doing the impossible for the military that they so dedicatedly served. That is until something happens and they are unfortunately framed for a crime that they did not commit. Incarcerating and separating all 4 of the A-Team's members, Hannibal wants to break out, rescue his comrades, and seek out the person who framed his beloved team so they can clear their names. Unfortunately, they're going to take on the military itself, along with the police, the FBI, CIA, and everyone else that gets in their way. Review of the plot. This movie is all about boom, 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 action, action, action. And normally this would be viewed as an incompetent film or stupid because of its simplistic writing. But in this case, this not only fits the film, but I think feels appropriate for this film. Like I said, there is not really much material to screw up here. This is not some Shakespearean masterpiece that we're pissing over. This is a 80s TV series. I mean, this is years and years ago. So what they're doing with it not only isn't that surprising, but it's kind of sensible considering our generation and age. And like I said, this film really works with it. I mean, lots of action can be bad, but when it's done in such an insanely overextended amount of degree, it's really hard not to smile or enjoy yourself a little bit of it. I mean, the explosions and crazy-ass fight scenes here are so ridiculously cartoonish and over the top, it's hard not to like it. This movie's not meant to be taken seriously, and if you are trying to take it seriously, then you're putting way too much thought into something that didn't have that much thought into it from the very beginning. What really sells this film, though, has to be the awesome choice in terms of casting and how they work together. If you're trying to believe that this team can literally do anything, then you have to have an acting cast that fits that team's image and make them fun to watch as they're dodging exploding cars and killer helicopters and all kinds of other crazy shit. And that's what this movie does magnificently. But of course, what good is an A-Team without a quality A-list cast to go with it? Review of the characters. One of the first things that got me attention to this film was the fact that they had such an awesome listing of actors taking, up the roster. I absolutely adore Liam Neeson. I think he's one of the more excellent actors that's out there today. He has such a variety of talent. He could be serious, he can be, badass, he could be sympathetic, he could be evil, he could be all kinds of things, and he does it so well. And he, to me, was the perfect choice for this smirking, cigar-chomping, master plan maker Hannibal, who every line he spouts is a memorable one-liner. And usually this would seem like something stupid, like, oh god, it's another Die Hard nickname line or something like that. But here, he sells it. Almost everything he says can be a one-liner, and he does it with such enthusiasm that you can't help but respect that. Bradley Cooper is funny, good-looking, and just the perfect fit for this character of Face. He's overly sexed up, overly good-looking, and just a smart-alecky smart-ass who proves that there's actually more to him than just a pretty face, but for the most part of the film, that's what he's there for, and he does it very well, especially with his chemistry with Jessica Biel, who plays Teresa Sosa, an ex-girlfriend of Face. They have some lot of interesting scenes together. Some can be portrayed as just simply typical, ex-girlfriend-boyfriend scenes and not really that imaginative, but at times they actually show some more deep like connection between them, which is not something I expected from an ass loads of explosion kind of movie. Probably the biggest surprise, though, has to come for the later two ones, Quentin Rampage Jackson as B.A. Baracus and Sharlto Copely as Murdoch. Baracus is a UFC fighter, if I'm not mistaken. And even if I'm wrong about that, the one thing you got to remember is that this guy has very little acting experience. I mean, he's relatively new in this, and he actually did a fantastic job living up to the infamous image of Mr. T, who I was disappointed they didn't even make a cameo in this film, but I have to say he definitely did a really good job playing this young, badass, mother, and he just really did a good job living up to Mr. T's image. He's never going to reach Mr. T's image. Nobody can. But for what he did in this film, I have to say he really worked it. But by far my favorite has to be easily Sharlto Copely, the star from District 9, who pulled a complete 180 performance in here from his dark science fiction film into this wacko helicopter pilot who stole every frickin' scene he was in. It was unbelievable how dead-on, funny, creative, and quirky he was. He made it funny, he made him creative, he just always kept things lively. And you couldn't help but just enjoy the character's wacko sense of humor and the fact that you never know what's going to come out of his mouth or what he's going to do next. It's so much fun just watching these four guys work together through all of this crazy shit, and that's what really sells this film. View of the cinematography and the music. Music was good, kind of typical at times, but otherwise appropriate. I mean, a lot of, punk music, loud music, alternative music. This whole movie is actually very friggin' loud and just very generation appropriate. Cinematography was crazy because this movie was really frickin' fast. And I mean fast, like Sonic the Hedgehog freaking fast. I mean, you're going so fast with this film before you realize that 6 months and 8 years have passed by in the storyline. You don't even know what the hell just happened, which is pretty much how this whole film slams the action in your face. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's going boom, and it's boom, and it's boom. And at times, it was kind of hectic to see how this camera could keep up with all of that. It didn't make me want to barf and have a headache like the Bourne Supremacy's camera work did, but I was actually impressed that how consistent this camera could keep it considering how fast the movie is going. Flaws about the film. Obviously, this film has a very low IQ. Its IQ is TNT, and it's pretty much what it reminds you of every waking moment. Now, if you like action-adventure popcorn films, then this is definitely the film for you, but if you're looking for something more emotional depth or intelligence, this is definitely not the movie for you. And the one thing that I was really disappointed was that the story ultimately lacked, because even if you're taking up more old material by drudging up this old TV series, you got to come up with something a little bit better than this whole, oh, we were framed, got to go prove our name stuff. It's very old hat, as is the idea that you think that you can have lots of explosions and quirky characters substitute quality character depth. But like I said, this is that kind of movie that you're trying to put that much thought into. The biggest issue I really had, I've already mentioned, and that was I felt the pacing of this film was far too fast. And even for its long-ass length, which I thought would have been shorter considering the film's subtext and nature, I felt this film moved way too quickly and should have slowed down just a little bit to enjoy the scenery a bit more. And by scenery, I mean the characters. Final wrap-up. A-Team gets an F- in terms of intelligence and deep thinking, but an A+ in explosions, adventure, and just having lots of fun with itself. This movie is not trying to be something serious, nor is it expecting you to take it that seriously. It's a frickin' 1980 series TV show. Just enjoy it for what it is and have fun with it. The actors are clearly having fun, and if you can have fun with them, then you can have fun with this whole movie and enjoy a simple 2-hour film of mindless explosions and funny-ass quirky characters. Liam Neeson, Bradley Cooper are the absolute shit. very impressed with the new takes from Quentin Rampage Jackson and Sharlto Copely. I thought he was absolutely marvelous and stole the show. I enjoyed Jessica Biel, and I just enjoyed this movie all in all. Key thing to have with this movie is fun, and that's what I did. It went a little too fast for my taste at times, but all in all, I had a good ride with this film, and I think you will too. Bottom line, I gave the A-Team 3 stars out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.